How can Quad be a complementary actor, a supportive actor, perhaps even a contributor to your own assessment and ambitions in that region?
Well, can I start with the complementarity point, because I think that answers the first part of your question. I mean, the complementarity of this configuration with the architecture of the region, some of which you referenced, I think is demonstrated from Australia's perspective by our geography and by our interests. So in terms of our geography, we are the smallest economy here with the most southernmost economy here. We are bounded on one side by the Indian Ocean, the other side by the Pacific, Asia, or ASEAN in particular, to our north, the countries of ASEAN. So for us, our interests lie in a world which is being reshaped and a region which is being reshaped, in working through this and the architecture of the region to ensure a region which I describe as stable, peaceful, secure and respectful of sovereignty.
What is Australia's assessment of India's role in the region, in your life, and by inference, perhaps also, where are we headed in the bilateral?
I mean, India is...
Can I request you to bring the mic closer to you? Thank you. Yeah.
I could answer the question in power terms and in influence terms. I could talk about the extent to which India is a critical power, a great power in the region, that there is no reshaping of the Indo-Pacific with the attributes that Australia would seek without India. I'd also make the point, and I think we've seen that in not only in how Jai engages with the world and his narrative around it, but also Prime Minister Modi. India is a civilisational power, brings a different perspective to some of the challenges of these times.
One of the big conversations in India and other parts of the Indo-Pacific certainly is around how distracted is America with the conflict in Europe, and how committed is it to continuing to engage in this region. Is Quad interim consultative group, even as the real action unfolds with your old allies and in the old world?
I think the very fact, not only of our presence here today, but our presence and engagement day in, day out, including through the Quad and the work that we're doing not only during the meetings that we have, but in between, is powerful evidence of the fact that as you might say, we can run and chew gum at the same time. And for us, the future is so much in the Indo-Pacific. Our engagement throughout the region, both through the Quad and in other ways, is as comprehensive and as deep as any time I can remember. And I think what we talked about yesterday in the course of the G-20 was also illustrative of this, because even as we're rightly focused on what is happening in Ukraine as a result of the Russian aggression, not just because it matters to Ukrainians and to Ukraine and to Europe, but because it matters to the entire world. The principles that underlie the entire international system that are necessary for trying to keep peace and stability that grew out of 2 world wars are being challenged, being aggressed along with Ukraine. And part of the reason that countries way beyond Europe are also so focused on this and are working to support Ukraine and deal with the challenge is because they know it could have an effect here. If we allow, with impunity, Russia to do what it's doing in Ukraine, then that's a message to would-be aggressors everywhere that they may be able to get away with it too.